Yeah. So we literally, if we want to get any water from our pipes, have to boil it.
Oh, did they say how long it's going to be for that to be
No.
rectified? Of
No.
course not.
No,
Of
of
course
course
not.
not. It's been a fun couple of weeks here. From having power out for a day to then like 2 weeks later having it go out again. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh, you're having power outages issues as well, huh?
Yeah.
Mine has gone out, oh god, 4 times in the past week and a half, 2 weeks. Just fucking randomly.
Nice.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm sure you're going to get the same heat that we're getting. They're talking about 97 on Sunday and Monday.
Oh, fun.
So that's probably going to cause those rolling outages again.
Nice. That's why I like living in Wisconsin. All right. La da 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 da. The fuck back over there.
I was born in the wrong fucking decade and picked the wrong fucking career. For real.
Are you a traveling salesman or something?
No, I just was reading how many fucking Playboy Playmates Nikki Six has been married to.
Do you
I'm
have
just
any,
saying.
do you have any musical ability?
Maybe if I was born in the decade he was, I would have inherited it. No, I don't know. Probably.
No, I highly doubt that. You gotta actually be good at something in order to beg a bunch of women.
Yeah, but only back then. Nowadays, people who are like really good at music don't even like. They're like YouTube stars or something. They don't even like make it. There's like no real bands anymore.
They get women too.
Um,
Alright, so alright, well, we have a perfect 10. I don't know if we're actually gonna do it. Well, we've got two pay-per-views to fucking cover.
yeah. I mean, we don't really. I don't think we'll have to hit NXT that much because we basically hit everything last night. But I mean, obviously, if you want to get your 2 cents in, I think, But I think me and Sal and maybe Greeny, if he shows up, have I think we already took care of what we
Yeah.
had to say about
Yep.
I know I say this now, but I really don't have much to say about SummerSlam. Maybe like 2 or 3 things.
it. I know it's funny because no, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Also, this is going to be a really weird episode for me because I can't interrupt anybody.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
Well, it'll be weird 10 minutes for you till you abandon that.
If I have to do Survivor Series, does it have to be the first one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is that like 88? I think it was Hogan. They used to do it differently. They used to do like the winners or the survivors of the team used to have to like do a final.
Yeah, it was like a
match.
tournament.
Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be brutal.
Mm.
I mean, I'm gonna be doing in your house pay-per-views, so
No, you're guesting with me on Takeover Salvation if I win this bet.
I already lost the first bet.
Oh yeah, but you already recorded that, didn't you?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
I was busy doing Slasher Sanitarium.
I really enjoyed that Slasher Sanitarium episode, by the way.
Thanks. So, here's a little peek behind the curtain. Netflix decided to bump me to the next episode So I watched episode 5, and took notes on it, and I'm like, did I miss the Lance episode? And I get to the end of it, and I look, and I was like, what the fuck? And it showed that I didn't. It showed that I didn't watch it. So I was like, the last one I watched was 3. Why the fuck did it bump me to 5? So then last night I watched 4. So I actually have the next episode recorded and set to fucking come out next week, because I'm like, well, I already did the fucking notes for it, so why don't I just do back-to-back recordings and shit?
That's crazy though.
Because I was sitting there and I'm watching 5, and I was like, I don't remember. I thought that this one came after it, but the way that the show is, like, episode 4, other than that first little clip, which I didn't even remember was in it, is an entire Lance episode. So it's like he doesn't reappear again until episode 6. So I was like, well, yeah, maybe they have it before it, but I was like, I can't remember. And the last time I watched the series, it was really fucking high. So I'm like, I don't know which. It's like, I don't know which order it came in. And then I looked and I was like, son of a bitch. Because as soon as it got to end, I was like, wait, is the next episode Heist? I was like, if that's the case, then I missed an episode. And sure enough, it rolled to the next episode. It's like Heist. I was like, God damn it.
That's one of those shows too that if you just turned it on and it was in the middle of the episode, you'd have no idea which number episode it was, unless it was the first one or the last one.
Right. Yeah, because it bounces around so much. And like I said, in this one, like in 4, everything that's going on is taking place somewhat during the end of episode 3. And then, like, episode 5 is taking place, like, during the time that the rest of the group is walking to... So they do a lot of that, which is cool. But like you said, it's also to the point where it's just like, unless you get to a scene where you're like, wait a second, you wouldn't realize what you meant. You'd be like, okay, all right, they're with us. And yeah, it's not... Yeah, the first episode, obviously, than the last episode, but... And then it's also kind of hard to remember, because I'm like... in the next episode, like, the group other than Lance all get back together, so it's like, I'm sitting there, I was like, did like Spears meet these people before, or is this the first time? I was like trying to remember. I was like, I know that Sun and Rose were together for a little bit. I was like, but I don't remember if they fucking remember each other. I was like, I know nobody knows William because he, like, wasn't even in the first episode. I was like, but yeah, so it gets a little bit confusing with that, but it's a good show.
No, I liked it. I definitely liked it. But yeah, it's definitely... It's one of those... Like, I can't be on my phone when I watch that show. Or when I first watched that show. I have to pay attention. Otherwise, I have no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah. And I like the show. This episode doesn't make it seem like I do. But but it's only because it's so fun. That episode was by far one of the worst in terms of, like, intelligent writing. Because there was... it was like... That's so unlikely that it fucking happened this way, but yet you wrote it that it happened this way.
Well, that's why I texted you, like, oh, I leave my keys in the visor. No, like, fucking nobody does.
I'm sure, like I said, back in, like, the 70s and 80s, like, that had to have been a thing at some point in time, because that happens in, like, movies all the time. People get in and they fucking check the visor, stuff like that. It's like, I would never leave my cars in my car, and I have a code on the outside of my car door that I could use, I would never lock my keys in the car, or even leave it in an unlocked car, for that matter. It's like, why don't you just sign the back of your title and throw it in the fucking glove box, too, just to make sure that when they steal your car, it can really be gone.
Not even dealerships do that. Like, I thought that for a minute. Like, well, maybe that's what dealerships do, when they just... Nope. No, they have a guy, or they have, like,
they have a lockbox.
A box. Yeah. Hey, can I get the keys to this? I'll take this one out for a drive. Like... Yeah, like you said, I think it's a 70s thing. I remember seeing it in, like, cop movies. Like, bad cop movies.
Right. So. But this is also a show that had cell phones. So, clearly it's not in the past, Alright, let's get the shit show going here. Alright. You ready?
On the YouTube feed, you have the MP3 Skype over the screen recorder. Okay, all right. No, I'm just.
Yep, it'll go away as soon as I hit start, but I haven't started.
Okay. All right.
So, is there anybody in there yet? People are watching, but
Okay.
No comments yet. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is The Rundown, episode 411. And what's the 411? We're talking about titties. That's right, it is the Rundown Wrestling Podcast, an intentionally offensive wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Troy. Joining me this week, Sal is here.
Yes, I am. 2 nights in a row. I love this shit. I really do.
Awesome. And Ginger's here.
2 nights in a row. I'm tired. It's been a long week, but what's up, everybody?
There we go. So, we are sans one of our members tonight. He has something else going on, but maybe Jason will be joining us a little bit later. So, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get right into it by talking about some lovely ladies. So we had 4 matchups in the first round of our hottest independent female talent tournament. We started things off with Brittany Blake versus Allie, aka Cherry Bomb, which I guess she doesn't really go by Cherry Bomb anymore. So, Sal, who's hotter?
I like the pitches you throw up there, Brittany Blake, but I still went with Allie. Just something about her.
Ginger?
Allie.
Fake tits and no chin. Just doesn't
Okay, yeah.
It means she can get, farther without a chin. It doesn't block anything.
I guess.
So,
You got them real meaty balls. So with a vote of 52 to 50,
Ooh.
Brittany Blake moves on.
Okay.
I can't help but think that Nikki on our website had a little something to do with that. Our next matchup, the dentist herself, Britt Baker, took on Natsu Samir. Ginger.
Britt Baker.
Sal.
Britt Baker, DMD.
With a vote of 57 to 42, Britt Baker moves on. So she'll be taking on Brittany Blake next round. That won't get really fucking annoying. So that took us to Barbie Hayden versus Zeta. And Sal.
Okay, full disclosure, I wasn't familiar with either of these two, but oh goddamn that ass on Zeta. So it's Zeta.
Ginger?
Beautiful pictures, but Zeta for me.
All right. Moving on to the second round. Zeta.
I think the picture had to do something with that.
I try to make it. I mean,
Hey.
You know me. The Barbie Hayden had a nice little ass picture on there too. I try.
Oh, yeah.
I try
Yep.
my hardest
Yep.
on it. I find whatever makes my dick tingle a little bit, and I go for it. So that takes us to our last matchup of the week: Bea Priestley versus Alexis Lee. I can't remember which one of you went first last time. So Ginger.
What was it? Bea Priestley? Is that how you pronounce her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, her.
Sal.
Be
Oh my god.
All right, moving on to the second round. Bea Priestley. So that takes us to our matchups for this week. It is the last 4 matchups in the first round of the tournament. You can go to rundownwrestling.com right now and vote on Taylor Hendricks versus Shaza McKenzie. Then the next night, you'll be able to vote on Brandy Rhodes versus Ivelisse Velez. Then we've got the Pinata one herself, Gail Kim versus Chardonnay. And finally, our last matchup in the first round of the tournament, Hana Kimura versus Maria Manic. I'm not sure how people are going to take Maria Manic if you haven't seen her before. The giant tattoo across her tummy that says "Man Eater" is probably going to turn a couple people off, but she is an attractive lady. So we're not going to be able to make our normal segue because we have some pay-per-views to talk about. So let's talk about things. Now, you can listen to NXT Revisited from last night where Ginger, Sal, and Jason all gave their thoughts on NXT TakeOver Toronto. So we're just going to go through the results here for any of you people who didn't listen to that, and I guess if I have something to say, I'll say it. So Io Shirai defeated Candice LeRae. I have no problem with pop of color. I think it's fine. The Velveteen Dream retained the NXT North American Championship. Yeah, that one, you guys said it that only Jeff picked Velveteen. I picked Pete Dunne just because I didn't want to pick Roddy Strong. I didn't think he was going to win it. But I thought for sure that it was time for Dream to be done, so, you know.
Now, one thing that us three discussed last night, I want to ask you, do you think Pete Dunne was just kind of like, here you go, he's in there?
You know, it's so odd because the way he was presented on the UK brand was as a big fucking deal. And the way he's been presented this entire time, I mean, he was traveling around defending that championship. He's always been presented as a big deal. So the fact that he, comes in here and gets into a triple threat match, I'm shocked that he took the pin too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you have to have one of them lose, but I feel like Roddy is the guy that could take a loss, and you're gonna keep Roddy strong instead of keeping Pete Dunne strong. I don't know. That seems a little odd. It seems like Pete Dunne should have come in here and won that fucking title, and launched him off from there. And like you guys said, I mean, Dream's been doing a great job as North American champion, but the guy is bigger than a title at this point.
Yep.
So.
You brought up a good point, though, because I didn't even think about this. Pete Dunne gets brought over here, and Regal kind of says, it's a big deal because of everything he did in UK. But to wait for them to display that is have him win that title.
Yeah.
Have him win that title, then he is just as big of a deal as he was when he was over there,
right. Yeah. I guess they want to think of it as it was a triple threat match, so, but still, that's your perfect opportunity for him to look stronger. And Dream, you could have just had Dunne pin Strong if you wanted to continue on with the feud. You didn't have to have Dream take a pin. So that took us to the NXT Tag Team Championship match where the Street Profits retained over Fish and O'Reilly. Obviously, I picked the Street Profits because I knew exactly what they're doing. They're trying to utilize the Street Profits to bring eyes to NXT. You can't then suddenly have them show up the next night without the tag belts around their waist, because then people are like, well, clearly they lost, so why should I watch these guys? And with Roddy not getting the North American title, you pretty much figured, the Profits are going to go over. So then that took us to Shayna Baszler defending the NXT Women's Championship against Mia Yim successfully. I hear what you guys are saying. Here's the thing. Shayna Baszler versus Mia Yim was better than Becky Lynch versus Natalya. And you guys shit on this match, and it's only because your expectations were higher for NXT than they are for any other actual match. If you were watching this match outside of NXT, you would have thought it's a good match. It's not a great match, but it was a good match.
Well, like I had said, it's the NXT Women's title. Yeah, our expectations are a little bit high for that.
Yeah, but I think that they told a different story. This was a lot more kind of ruthless and everything like that. So then obviously Io and Candice, who did a little more technical matchup. I am a little bit with you on the fact that I didn't know who was the heel and who was the face in this, but but that kind of adds to it. And then the last match of the night, Adam Cole Bebe winds up winning 2 out of 3 falls against Johnny Gargano. This was kind of a fucking mess. I know you guys talked about it. I mean, Jason brought up a lot of good points about how nonsensical it was in terms of who got the falls win. Gargano taking a selfie. If it was Adam Cole taking the selfie, I would have laughed and it would have made sense because that's the kind of cocky asshole he is. For Johnny, who's supposed to be like, I'm 100% focused on winning this championship, it seemed a little odd. It didn't ruin the match for me any stretch of the imagination, but still, like I said, I mean, it wasn't booked the way you would normally expect NXT to book things. So that meant that somehow Jeff wound up getting 5 out of 5 right.
Jesus.
You know, hey, everybody's got to have their day sometime, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a blind man gets jizz in the eye, whatever that saying is. So Ginger wound up getting 4 correct. Adam, myself, and Sally got 3 correct. Jason got 2 correct, which I think is why he was a little saltier than he normally is. So that took us to SummerSlam. So the Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Drew Gulak successfully defends against Ornery Lorcan. Every single one of us knew they weren't putting the fucking title on Lycan. So it made sense. The match itself was good. These are 2 kind of more brawling cruiserweights than your typical, high flag and things like that. So it did a good job of showing that, like, oh, there's not just that, like, chain, Mexican style wrestling that you see from a lot of the cruiserweights. There is also this other stuff too. So it succeeded, at least in that aspect of it, to me. But did either of you guys have anything to say about Tropicana versus Gulak?
No, I enjoyed it.
I was at work, so I completely missed the pre-show. So, yeah.
If we used an actual clip instead of the South Park line for your intro, you would just be, I didn't watch this.
I didn't watch this.
Okay, no, I enjoyed it. I like you said, it was a very hard-hitting match. I know none of us picked Lorcan, but it in retrospect, it would have been kind of funny if he did win and then just ran around going, "My title!"
That guy is...
There's something wrong with him. I love him to death, but there's something wrong with him.
Yeah, I mean, he is what he is, at this point. You just kind of go with it. So, yeah, I don't fucking know. Uh-oh. I lost my chat. How do I get that back?
Oh, no.
There it is. Okay. So then, excuse me. Budrick Murphy took on Apollo Crews. I felt a little cheated because I picked Apollo Crews because I was like, somebody's going to fuck with him, and Crews is going to be able to win this match. Now, somebody fucked with Buddy Murphy, but they did it the wrong fucking way, because Eric Rowan blindsides a motherfucker and gives him a win via DQ. I think I should get half points for this. And I think Ginger should as well, because we both knew this match wasn't going... You do not put Buddy Murphy and Apollo Crews in a match together with no fucking
randomly
on SummerSlam, unless you have something. So I'm like, either Roman's music is gonna hit and Crews is gonna roll him up, or Eric Rowan's gonna come out and Crews is gonna roll. No. Instead, it was just, let's beat the ever-loving piss out of this fucking guy. The match leading into it was fine. There wasn't much before it happened, but it's so weird to have them use SummerSlam to build the next night's or Tuesday night SmackDown.
Yeah.
Why are you using one of your big 4 pay-per-views to build a TV storyline?
It was a pre-show match. They didn't give a shit about it. Obviously, it was just a means to get Rowan out there to respond to Buddy's accusations.
But then you do that in a backstage segment. You didn't have any.
I would have been fine with that.
You didn't have any of your tag team titles defended other than the women's tag belt. You put this match on here instead of doing a quick 5-minute match where, like, the Revival lose again or some of that. At least defend one of the fucking tag belts.
Nah.
Yeah, well, I guess not. So speaking of tag belts, Bliss Cross Applesauce wound up winning the women's tag belts off of the Iconics. Right? No?
It felt kind of squashy.
I mean,
And I love me some Iconics. I really fucking do.
you know, we talk a lot about these belts because nobody else seems to care. And we had said, well, putting it on Bliss Cross Applesauce maybe was a good idea, so that way the belts would actually be utilized. And we've now seen the women's tag belts on both Raw and SmackDown this week, so it clearly worked. And they were defended on one of those shows too. So, say what you will. I mean, it sucks that the Iconics don't have it anymore, but they had it for long enough. It's time to try something else. So I know that the big argument here was, oh, it's another thrown together tag team. I know Jason's been harping that a lot of like, oh, we've got all these other people that are, legitimate tag teams and stuff like that. And I know that Sal, you had said, well, I mean, the New Age Outlaws started together as two thrown together people. The Bar were two people that were thrown together. So it's a strange situation where like you're not right yet, but you're also not wrong, because if Alexa Bliss is as beat up as we have heard that she is with the concussion stuff like that, it makes total sense for her to have a long run as a tag team, because that's the same thing they did with Sheamus, so you might in the long run be correct if they have a very long run as a tag team together. And I understand Jason as well saying, well, Bliss and Cross were just kind of thrown together. I think the plan to begin with was to just have them thrown together and eventually have a turn, but now they seem to have made it where these two are actually friends. So they definitely have swerved into having this be the storyline with them. So, and we're not at that point right now where we're going, well, when is Nikki Cross going to turn on Alexa Bliss? Because she's been treated good. Like, they're tag team but head champions now. So,
Yep.
So I think it's going to have to wait and see if we are sitting here in January and Bliss and Cross are still a team together. Then I think that they're a good team to be, women's champions. Also, like, the Boston Hug Connection are two people that were thrown together. The Iconics are an actual team. And I get where Jason's coming from on that, where it's like, well, you're having an actual team and stuff like that. But it's like, well, who are the other actual teams right now? You've got Fire and Desire, who don't really ever tag together. They're just always with each other. You've got the Kabuki Warriors, who are two women that were thrown together because, hey, they both look alike. So, I mean, you don't have a lot of, like, long-running female tag teams. It's just not something that you see often. So, unless you're gonna sign, my two of my favorite ladies from ROH, the Twisted Sisters, like, you're going to have a bunch of women that are thrown together in tag teams. So
I get, in the sense that Jason wanted maybe Fire and Desire to be the next champs. Fine, I get that, and they are, for all intents and purposes, a team. My issue is the only other team in the entire WWE that was a team was the Sky Pirates, and they broke them up. So at that point, Bliss and Cross have been doing some really good work the past couple months. I like it. I like the pairing.
yeah, I understand obviously why the Ass Pirates got broken up for obvious reasons, because they've got a better story to tell with Io as a heel. And right now, if it wasn't for Kairi Sane, Asuka probably wouldn't have been seen the 2 times that she's been seen the past 3 months. So at least it's something, Obviously, the other thing was Paige was not present, but that's because she was having another neck surgery, which apparently was a big success. She obviously will never wrestle again, which is terrible for someone who's 27. But yeah, so she's obviously going to be in less pain now, thanks to this neck surgery. So good on her. The surgeon that did the surgery was the same guy who did Daniel Bryan's surgery and has done other people as well. So clearly a very good surgeon. But at this point, yeah, you can't save the damage that's already been done to people like Edge or Paige. But maybe Paige will be able to spear someone in the future.
I was gonna say, although 10 years later, Edge is able to spear somebody.
I mean,
So you're saying there's a chance.
I mean, the way that Edge spears is far safer than like the way Rhino
Goldberg.
spears.
Yeah,
Or
he hits
Goldberg.
him with like the elbow and
Yeah.
Well, not-
bicep more
yeah.
than shoulder.
Yeah, but not only that, Edge also does it on his knees.
Yes.
He spears.
True.
He spears and lands at his knees, so he's not really
Yeah.
putting his neck anywhere near the rope. Whereas like a guy like Goldberg throws his entire body into it and can land face first on the mat. So, which is not what
Or
you
d-
want to do when you have a neck injury.
New.
Yes. So that took us to our main show. Becky Lynch defended successfully against Natalya. So this is going out of order because I didn't fucking bother to put this in order. So I know I got a little chastised for saying it, but here's the thing. I turned on the show as Natalya had Becky Lynch in that shitty sharpshooter on the fucking turnbuckle. So I did not know that they said that there was no rope breaks because I have never seen a submission match where they had no rope breaks. So when I typed into the host chat, oh, well, how's she going to break this hold? Because they hadn't said, like, oh, she can't break it with a rope break or like that at that point. So, yeah. I know I'm defending myself a little bit, but that's why I didn't understand that she couldn't actually just grab the fucking rope that was 2 inches away from her. Because apparently they decided that. Also, that move looked like shit.
Thank you. Thank you. And I know, the big stick, if he was here tonight, he'd defend the move, probably. But I thought that move looked fucking awful. And I just didn't care for this match.
I think it would have looked a little better because she was on the second turnbuckle, correct?
Mhm.
When she
Yes.
she was too high. If she was on like the bottom buckle, I think it would have looked a little bit better. It's just it doesn't look effective when they're ass to ass in height and there's really no torque on the back
Yeah.
that much. But
Here's the other thing. When the announcers have to try to defend what you're doing to make it sound like it's more legit, don't do the move. Because
kind of a problem.
you had Corey Graves sitting there right away going, she can't get the torque on it. It's like, yeah, man, like, then don't do the fucking move. Your announcers are like, but it's hurting her. I know it doesn't look like it's hurting her, but it's hurting
no.
her.
God.
Oh, my
She doesn't really have pressure, but I swear it hurts.
We knew what this was. We
Yep.
knew that this was. We were going to trot Natalya out there, and because we need to have Becky on the pay-per-view somehow, and we're not going to waste a spot on anybody who, if they take a loss, there's no going back from it, for a long time. So it's like we knew because of what happened on Raw, the exact reason why Natalya got a fucking pay-per-view match, and. Don't say it's just because it was in Canada, because we had one of the 3 Canadians win. And so clearly they didn't care about trotting Canadians out there to win. And otherwise, anyways, like, Natalya's a heel. Why would you want them to cheer her in Canada?
Not only that, but the crowd showed exactly what they thought of Natalya the next night.
Yep.
The crowd even that night showed exactly what they thought of her, too.
That's true.
But we might get to that. So then, so every one of us picked Becky Lynch for obvious reasons. Every one of us picked Goldberg for obvious reasons this next match too, because so Ziggler got 3 moves on him before Goldberg just fucking speared the shit out of him, and
Yeah, I think.
I know he got a super kick on him.
I think he got 3 super kicks and 2 super kicks, and then that was it.
Okay, yeah. So this was exactly. I'm just shocked that people are still complaining about the fact that a Goldberg match didn't go long. It's just like, did you ever watch 150 of his 170 wins? They were all short matches. That's the point of him. He's supposed to be this dominant motherfucker that puts people away quickly. And you don't want to see Goldberg applying rest holds to Dolph Ziggler. You want to see this be a 1-minute match and be done with it.
Well, go back to when Goldberg won the WCW Heavyweight Championship against Hulk Hogan. That match was one of his longer matches, and it was legitimately, I think, 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all it needs. That's all his career's been.
Mm-hmm.
So why change it? I mean, Another reference is Goldberg and Brock at Mania. That was what, 7 minutes?
Yeah.
But that was probably their best encounter with each other because they beat the shit out of each other.
That was at a
That doesn't count. Go ahead.
No,
that was at a frantic pace though when they did Brock and Goldberg. So even though it was only about 5 minutes, they beat, like you said, they beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
The thing I want to know is that I heard a lot of talk this week of them booking Goldberg to kick out at 1 from the super kick. I don't have a problem with it, but Ginger, you were a former worker. Is that like an offensive spot to have a guy kick out at 1?
No, because fuck Dolph Ziggler.
that, but yes and no. I mean, it depends on who it is. If it's Ziggler, that's fine. But
That's what I thought.
say if it was Shawn Michaels, totally different fucking story.
Well,
Yeah, I get that.
not to mention the fact that Ziggler's finishing move isn't a super kick. It's a zigzag.
That's a zigzag.
Yeah. So his
I had to think about that for a second.
So I'm sure for him, he doesn't care. He's just like, well, yeah, everyone does a super kick now. So
Yeah,
like
it's
Goldberg kicking out a super kick, not that big of a deal because what did Ziggler try after that? He tried for the zigzag. So
I think it would have been nice to see a close 3, a close 2, like 1, 2, and then have. I think that would have put the crowd. I mean, the crowd was already into it, but I think they would have popped big if they thought Goldberg was going to job right there. But
yeah.
fantasy booking bullshit by me.
But they did think that though, because when he hit the super kick, the whole crowd stood up like,
popped.
"Oh shit!"
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So far, every match that we have discussed has been an end to a feud. As we get going here, that trend is going to stop. So, but first, we have AJ Styles successfully defending against Rick O'Shea. So, the match itself, it's difficult because it was a good match, but I know that it could have been a better match.
It could have been 1,000 times better. That I think everybody thought this was going to be the end of it, so they were expecting top notch everything that they could do with each other, and you didn't get that.
Right. So I guess we don't really know if this feud is continuing or not because AJ wasn't anywhere near Rick, and in fact Rick was against Elias on the next time we saw him. So go ahead, Sal.
Ricochet came out at the end of that Raw to help out.
He
was getting
yeah.
club.
That's right, yeah. So, but well, we also got new Big Show Braun Strowman.
It's so sad.
It
is.
It's sad because, I mean, we'll talk about it, but
Yeah.
he comes out. It was like an obvious face, but it's just like, what did I read the fucking next day? The plan is for Braun Strowman versus Seth Rollins. It's like, come on, dude. Like, he really is the new Big Show.
It's sad. It really is.
Yeah.
Except for Big Show was a couple-time world champion.
Yeah,
Braun will never get there.
I wouldn't say never.
I wouldn't say right now, but I wouldn't say never.
Don't forget, we are also getting into that period of time where in the winter they tend to like to try to play things around until January rolls around, or the fall, I should say, because people are starting to go back to school and everything like that, and so I think you're going to start seeing them take a couple more chances on things. We've seen it in the past, so. He could have a fucking 1 month run with it. I mean, Big Show didn't have a lot of really long runs with the championship. So
to that point, I just want to bring up this point. I watched. I forget what pay-per-view it was. I think it was Braun. It was Braun versus Brock. I think it might have been their first meeting where Braun just fucking dominated Brock basically the whole time. If they were gonna pull the trigger, that was the time to do it because Braun was hot as a motherfucker, and then. He beat the shit out of Brock the whole time, but they didn't pull the trigger, unfortunately.
Surprised WWE didn't pull the trigger when somebody was hot.
Fucking god damn it!
they're seriously like, they have like rom-com timing on things. Like,
Yep, they do.
like, oh, I finally like, randomly met that guy that I blew in the fucking in high school that one time, and now maybe he's got a wife and kids. Well,
Oh my god.
shucks.
Shucks.
Anyway, Bailey successfully defends the SmackDown Women's title against Ember Moon.
What the fuck with this match? Why wasn't it good? Both. Maybe it wasn't good because the crowd sucked. The crowd fucking didn't give a shit, and I don't know. Ember didn't really showcase.
I didn't give a shit.
That's so disappointing, though. Both these girls can fucking go.
Oh yeah.
We talk a lot about making the most of your opportunities, and after the injury that Ember sustained when she was kind of starting to be used and everything like that, this was her time. This was her brass ring moment, and it wasn't great. Now, I know that everyone wants to immediately be like, well, maybe it was the way that the agents booked it or something like that, but it's like, these two women are veterans. They know how to put together a match, and I don't know, man. I don't know what they were attempting for here, and it's like, it's SummerSlam, dude. Like, pull out all the fucking stops, man.
You brought up a good point. Do we know who the agents are out back right now?
Well,
No, because Dean.
Because, well, regardless of who it is, all of them after this pay-per-view should be fucking fired.
So, I don't know if they specifically have... I know that they have Sarah Stock help out with some of the women's matches. I know that they have Sarah Del Rey help out with some of the women's matches on all the cards. Your typical road agents, you're looking at, obviously, Michael Piece of Shit Hayes, Mark Henry, Matt Hardy, Eric Young has been doing the cruiserweight matches lately. There's a couple other ones. IRS.
Well, what the, like, I don't understand it. This pay-per-view had the potential to be fucking fantastic, and it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
Until the last 2.5 matches.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, and like what, like, Ember now has a new feud, I guess, but it's not for a championship. So, and we don't really know what Bailey's doing. But anyways, so then we had match of the night, Kevin Owens versus the best in the world, Shane McMahon. This was obviously the match that this crowd was fucking jizzing in their pantses for.
Oh, they were fucking hard on.
Yeah, we had Elias as special guest enforcer, which I don't remember that I've ever seen a special enforcer wear a referee's outfit before. I thought they usually just come out in their normal gear. So, but here or there. So, the story of this match obviously was the fact that Shane knows he can't beat Kevin Owens, so he was doing everything he could to try to make Owens beat himself. Including like trying to get him, counted out numerous times, which, what the fuck, man? I have never seen a referee count that fucking fast on that shit before. It was so 1, a 2, a 3, like, come on, dude. What the fuck is going on? Like, we have sat there before and talked about how, like, all right, we're at a 20 count right now and the ref's at a 5 count, like. And yeah, but this one, it was like immediately as soon as he got out there, it was like a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, get it back in. And then we had Elias continue to throw chairs towards Kevin Owens to try to get him to use the chair. I was so expecting an Eddie Guerrero callback here with that fucking chair, because there was numerous times that Owens was like he was going to. I was like, is he gonna throw it in Shane's fucking hands and make the referee think? But then he never did. I'm like, come on, man, use the frog splash, like. But in order to continue this feud, Kevin Owens does kick Shane right in the dick. which
Right
is,
in the dick hole.
which is normally
Fucking loved it.
which is normally a Brock Lesnar move, but then gets a stunner on him and wins. This is after, of course, taking on Elias. But beating the piss out of him with the fucking chair was great because it's just like can't get me for this one.
Fucker.
Yeah. So Kevin still has a job. Shane, thankfully, has already had his kids. Go ahead, Sal.
I was a little bit worried when he was attacking Elias with the chair because what they went to on Tuesday night, I kind of thought they were going to do right there at SummerSlam. And I thought Shane was going to be like, "You struck an official. I'm disqualifying you." Thankfully, they didn't. And to Owen's credit, the stunner, done very well this time, got a huge fucking pop. So I was happy for Owens. And, it was a little bit overbooked with Elias, but, that you knew Shane was going to pull shit. That's a Shane match. He's going to have shit like that in his back pocket.
Fiddlesticks. Sorry, my Packers just lost. It's preseason, so nobody gives a shit. So then we had... Not lying here. The longest match of the night, Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus. Which, who would have thought that was coming? That these two had the longest match of the night. Obviously the Toronto crowd hardcore behind Trish Stratus.
I'd get hard behind her too.
I mean, come on. Like, she looked great.
I would come on her.
If you're going to have side panels that are supposed to make it look like they're cutouts, at least try to match your skin tone. They looked so bad.
They were like beige.
That's not her skin tone though. Like, at least with like when Natalya has her cutouts and stuff like that, like it looks like it's actually supposed to be her skin and stuff like that. It's like, that's it. It's like, did she like tan the day before and they're just like, oh man, now we're not gonna be able to get it changed in time.
Do you think the guy all the way at the top of the balcony was like, is that skin?
I mean, maybe, but still, I would be like, it's like, does she only tan her arms? Like, does she go to the beach in like one of those old like 1950s swimsuits that cover her entire body? Because it's looking a little pale there. Like, I don't know if this was like a rejected Paige outfit for like the skin tone or what, but
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Nope, can't use that one.
No.
Keep it going.
Anyways, the match was really good though. Trish did a fantastic job. This is how a retirement match should go.
Yep.
Giving Trish time to do, all of her shit. I was so glad to not have the fucking Matrix dumb fucking move that she used to do all the time. I always hated that fucking move. It was always terribly set up and never looked that good and stuff like that. Her opponents never knew how to fucking deliver that move because she'd like bend up and be like, raw. But yeah, so Trish locking in the figure 8 was a nice touch. And they did a really good job of numerous times making you think like, well, maybe they could have Trish go over Charlotte because the entire time I was like, it makes the most sense for Charlotte to retire her because it's a passing of the torch kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it makes more sense than to have Charlotte just randomly lose to a veteran or like that. But at the same time, you're just like, well, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, especially that last chick kick that Trish hit. I was like, ooh, nope, didn't happen. But yeah, so Charlotte is able to get the figure 8 and gets Trish to tap in her last match.
The thing that I really enjoyed about this match, and I don't know why, I know it happens every time it's like a older generation versus this current generation, but I really like that Charlotte was like, you're too old for this, and like tried to, mess around a little bit, and I thought these two did it very well because Trish was like, she took advantage of it, and it looked good. It didn't look like shit. Because sometimes that can backfire and make your match look like shit. I really enjoyed it on this one. But overall, I thought the match was fantastic. Little slow, but I think that's okay. I think it worked for this. But you got something? You got something on that? Or?
I can't think of a better comparison, so I'm just gonna go with Taker and Orton. But this reminded me of that in the sense that, you had this person who's the now, who's Charlotte, and Trish is really performing at the top of her game in this match. She's doing everything. She's hanging with Charlotte, but ultimately you got to have that young lion go over. And and I thought it was done really well. And I thought Charlotte sold for her when she needed to. And there was definitely points where you thought Trish was going to win, but to have Trish tap out in the middle of the ring to Charlotte's figure eight was the ultimate passing of the torch. She could not have endorsed her anymore.
So, would this match have been as good with anybody else?
It's really, like, if you did Sasha and Trish or Becky and Trish, I don't think
anybody else. No, I don't think so either.
I think Charlotte played her role perfectly here.
Yeah. How about you, Troy?
Oh, sorry, I was just reading the spoilers for the title change on NXT.
All right, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't
do it. What?
Don't tell you that. No. Yeah, I mean, we've had quite a few different retirement matches. We've had matches where we didn't know it was going to be a retirement match. Obviously, people like Edge in the last match against Alberto Del Dickhead didn't know it was a retirement match. Mick Foley had his. Shawn Michaels was supposed to have his. That lasted.
Flair was supposed to have his.
Yeah, Flair's had his. I think
so. Is Terry Funk?
I believe. Yeah, I believe Flair is done. Do you count that? Because you kind of interrupted me when I was trying to make a point. It was for a joke, though, so I don't know if I should. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go because it's a joke. No,
yeah, I'd say let it slide.
Okay. It's when you interrupt people with you trying to make a point that we were trying to. Jokes are fine. We always like to have jokes. So it was what it was. There wasn't that much of a build to it, but there didn't need to be because this is one of those matches where it kind of sells itself. So, so we had Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship, and here is where we get to the point. This should have been a feud ender, and we, yet again, use one of our big four pay-per-views to continue a feud. Sal.
I first want to give credit to Jason for pointing out that this is the exact same fucking finish they did last year in the WWE title match when AJ fought Samoa Joe. At least at that point, the storyline going in was that Joe was pretty much going at AJ's family and his wife Wendy. So even if I didn't like the non-finish last year, storyline-wise, it made sense. What I don't like is that essentially you made Orton right. Kofi can't beat him. That's the story you just told us at this SummerSlam. Kofi can't beat him. He got counted out or DQ'd or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And we got a non-finish to a WWE title match yet again. I don't fucking get it. I was really looking forward to this match.
I think a lot of people were. I've been talking about the fact that I have been fairly confident that Brock Lesnar's taking this title off of Kofi, so any feud that we have before October is just going to be something to keep the title on Kofi until then, because obviously we know what's coming in October. We know Brock is not getting a rematch for the Universal Championship, so it sort of makes sense for him to be Fox's champion, considering they want to have a more realistic program. Go ahead, Ginger.
Now that you bring that point up, I wonder if at the next pay-per-view, Clash of Champions,
yep.
Yep.
I wonder if Orton goes over and then Orton gets his rematch from when Brock fucked him up.
Maybe. I mean, Kevin Owens reminded us that it's been 2.5 years and he still hasn't gotten his Universal Championship rematch. So,
But that wasn't even that wasn't a title match, was it, between Orton and Brock?
no.
No.
I was just making jokes about about rematches and stuff like that.
Way over my head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder if they'll go that route.
Oh,
That's a possibility.
I also want to say you guys both were hardcore on when you guys were talking about NXT on FS1. There's no fucking way that NXT on FS1 would be a tape show. You cannot go head to head with AEW with a tape show. Everything we have heard has been that the show would be live. Vince McMahon would have more input into it. It'd be a 2-hour live show. You can't put a tape show because AEW could just do fucking what WCW did and be like, oh hey, by the way, did you hear Shane Thorne won the fucking NXT? Oh wait, Shane Thorne's not gonna win it.
Shane Thorne, the new 24/7 champion.
Let's not even get started on that shit right now.
So my thing about NXT, and this goes to what Jason said. Okay, you want to do it live, do it live. If you take it away from Full Sail, it's going to lose something significant.
Yeah. But it's also going to be presented a different way. It's going to be a third brand. It's not going to be the NXT. Evolve would then become what we now watch as NXT and love. So, which, bad news for Austin Theory. Because he's picked a real bad time to leave Evolve. So the match ends in a double countout. And we continue on to see, these guys are going to be at it again at Clash of the Champions, Clash of Champions, Clash of the Titans, whatever you want to call it.
Clash of the Kings.
I know it's Clash of Champions because WCW was Clash of the Champions. So I don't know why they need to differentiate that. You literally had Great American Bash as one of your fucking pay-per-views.
Yep.
So, in a match that Sal originally typed as Finn Balor versus the friend Bray Wyatt, we had the new persona of the Fiend take on and demolish Finn Balor. So, this was what we have been waiting for. We've been waiting to see how this motherfucker was going to be presented, because we're like, well, is he going to come out to the same theme music? Kinda, but no. It was the same song. It was a fucking metal version of his song, and it was glorious. But not only that, we still had the Fireflies, but that's not on WWE. That's the crowd is always going to do that shit for Bray. But what we did have was a brand new lantern, which was Bray Wyatt's fucking head. Oh my gosh. Kudos to the announce team for not saying a goddamn word during this entrance, because too often I was like, fucking Cole, you better not fucking open your goddamn mouth, because I know you want to. You want to be like, the Fiend is here. Nope, he thankfully held himself back. So the Fiend comes out, obviously in full Fiend gear. Has a Bray Wyatt shaped lantern now. Proceeds to put the lantern on the ring apron, and then I thought it was so cool. They focused on the lantern while the Fiend got in the ring, and so you just saw him in the background moving around, and I thought that made it so much better, because it's like we so often just want to follow the fucking performer the entire time, and it was kind of a really cool visual. He is wrestling in exactly what we've been seeing him in, which can't be that comfortable to wrestle in. I don't know, Ginger, your thoughts on the entrance?
Fan-fucking-tastic. The one thing, the nice little touch. So when he came out, they had the camera zoomed in only on the lantern. So you couldn't really tell if it was Bray, but I was like, oh, he's got some cool makeup. And then he fucking hits the fucking lantern. Holy shit. I love the fact that it's not a handle, It's his fucking old dreadlocks as the fucking handle. The mask in general is made by Tom Savini, who was a makeup artist for Friday the 13th. He did work for custom skins on Friday the 13th game. He was in From Dusk Till Dawn. List goes on and on and on.
Whoa. If you're going to mention he was in From Dusk Till Dawn, you have to say his character's name. Oh, Ginger.
I know, I'm an asshole.
Oh, no.
I know he had the fucking guns, shoes, and all that shit, dude. I know.
All right, you're muted. Tom Savini was Sex Machine in From Dusk Till Dawn.
Sex.
With the
fucking bitch.
With the gun dick with the barrel balls. Not shoes. He also inexplicably turned into a giant rat for whatever reason. But yes, also in Dawn of the Dead, the original and the remake too. He had a cameo in the remake. He was the cop in just like one little scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then in the original one, he was the leader of the biker gang, which was when the movie went really fucking weird. Listen to my take on it on Slasher Sanitarium. It was one of my first episodes.
See what I did for you there, buddy?
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead, keep going.
So when they zoomed out, like I said, and then you saw the Fiend holding it, I fucking stood up and was like, I am already fucking sold. I don't care what his work is. And another thing I want to bring up, is this why they made the pay-per-view TV-14?
Yeah.
Because it resembles somebody's head cut off and turned into a lantern. But yeah, just everything was fucking. I love the music. I like the hard guitar riffs at the beginning, and then they changed the fucking tone, the whole tone of just everything about this was amazing. Sal?
A year ago, Bray Wyatt was on the fucking pre-show with Matt Hardy. And after Matt Hardy's injury, Bray was pretty much off TV. So much so that even though he fought at the live event known as Starrcade, he was still kept off TV. And I waited, and I said, this is one of the greatest characters they've ever had in the WWE in the past 6 years. What are they going to do with Bray Wyatt? And what they did with Bray Wyatt was nothing I could have ever imagined. And when they finally showed The Fiend on the Firefly Funhouse, I thought it was a great moment, but this eclipsed all of it. This was fucking amazing. I brought up in the host thread, episode 1 of the Firefly Funhouse, he takes a chainsaw and he cuts off the old Bray Wyatt's head, and now he made a lantern out of it. Phenomenal. And like you said, Ginger, it didn't fucking matter what happened. That fucking entrance was so incredible that it sold me just on that.
Yeah, so before he even came out, we did have a little bit of a recap of the Firefly Funhouse, too. And including that scene in particular to talk about.
We forgot to bring up our YouTube link tonight. Jason is not here to read comments.
There hasn't been a single one. I've been watching.
I got three comments right here.
What? Mine shows none. So go ahead.
I got Mike Smathers in the Smathers Lounge. At the beginning of the episode. Episode title refers to cum, and I log in to hear Troy talking about meaty balls. This should be a great episode. And then Kane Napier. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Did anyone watch the WWE Watch Along? Gargano's face during the Fiend's entrance was fucking hilarious. I saw the screenshot of it. Fucking hilarious. Crowd had Kane as well says crowd had it right for the entrance though. Holy shit.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think everybody agrees on this fucking character is top notch.
And I dig the remix because there were rumors of them using a new Slipknot song, which is fine in theory, but I dig the remix because it's still Bray. It's just a much more sadistic fucking version.
Right, yeah. And we saw that in the match itself too. So Bray now wrestles a far more powerhouse style than he has in the past. He's always been a big guy, but he never really worked that way. The height he gets on the fucking Uranagi that he did was far greater than we've seen in the past. Kudos to Balor as well for what he did in this match. But even that too, Bray or the friend, as Sal likes to call him, when he proceeded to snap Bray Wyatt's or Finn Balor's neck in the middle of the fucking match.
Oh my god!
I'm like, because he like goes aside. I was like, are we really getting a rest hold this match? And then he fucking. I was like, I'm sorry, did he just murder him?
Glad you brought that part up. I don't know if I like that because literally he'd be dead. Like that's it. You know what I mean?
No, because he did it like they do in fucking movies and stuff like that. That's not enough to snap someone's neck. Like you have to actually pull and do it. You really can't do the quick little fucking snap. So if anything, he just like yanks his neck quickly to the side, which obviously has the intended like imagery of him stabbing himself.
Yes.
But yeah, that would fucking hurt. I wouldn't, if somebody like yells in your fucking ear and you don't expect them, you're gonna go like that. It's gonna hurt your fucking neck. you know. Yeah. So we did see him go for the Sister Abigail. Didn't hit it. Which of course we've been sort of talking about, like we don't want to see him do his old Bray Wyatt moves. There was kind of a mix. He definitely had some more moves, and maybe and Sal had said, in our host thread that maybe they're phasing out some of these these moves and stuff like that. But what we did get the Mandible Claw, which was able to put Finn Balor to sleep.
What a fucking transition too to get to the Mandible Claw, because Finn was rolling on offense, which I didn't really appreciate. But if you watch closely, the Fiend was still up the whole time. He wasn't really affected by the offense, and then Finn goes to the top rope, and the Fiend basically muscles him down with the Mandible Claw. It was fucking insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then
love it.
Obviously, with the context in and the mask and everything, that every time he was able to take a glance up at the fucking hard cam, you're just like, oh Jesus Christ. Yeah.
One more thing that he did from his Bray Wyatt character, the lean back in the corner. I thought it worked still because it's still creepy as fuck.
He didn't crab walk, thankfully. He just did the lean back, which I guess I'm okay with.
I hope he doesn't do the crab walk because then it's like, okay, it's just Bray Wyatt. It's not just doing that to scare the shit out of your opponent. That's it.
Right. Plus, like, he sort of killed that in the Firefly Funhouse by making it part of the fucking weird little like
limbo.
Yeah. So I felt like he has done a good job of sort of killing some of those things. And we've talked about it before about how when Finn Balor is the demon, we want to see him wrestle differently. Well, like, here's the prime example of somebody who is now wrestling differently just by putting a fucking mask on and having a different presentation. Because it's like, it's still Bray Wyatt. They still call him Bray Wyatt, They do refer to him as the Fiend or the Friend. But it is, it is still Bray. And so the only thing that I was sort of hoping for on this was that after Bray wins, they do the little like strobe light thing, then he disappears, but Finn Balor and his lovely juicy balls are still in the middle of the ring. And I thought it would have been so much better because this is them writing Finn Balor off TV. Like, it would have been so much better if Finn was gone too, because then you just don't see Finn for a while he's taking his time off to go fucking slam his cock into his girlfriend. Which, by the way, did anyone I haven't heard anyone talk about the fact that Finn Balor has a fucking tattoo on his arm now, and like nobody has mentioned it. Did you not even realize it, Sal?
Yeah, it was. It came up on the internet that him and his girlfriend got matching tattoos.
It's on the back of his arm.
Yeah, it's on the tricep.
Yeah, but you can see it obviously when he wrestles because there's nothing covering it. But I was surprised that nobody was like, because this I think was the first match since he got it that we've really seen it. It might have maybe first or second. It hasn't been long, so
no.
But yeah, I don't know what it fucking says. It's just words, but yeah.
You can tell where my focus was.
On his big meaty balls. I gotcha. By the way, any time a wrestler wears fucking white trunks, like you're gonna see, visible penis line. Like it's gonna be it's gonna be VPL left and right. And as soon as he's sitting there with his fucking legs spread, I'm like, I can see where his fucking balls are hanging. Like
I can see where he missed shaving, for God's sakes.
Like come on. Don't ever wear white trunks, guys. Like, unless you're wearing pants. If you're wearing anything other than just the fucking trunks, you can wear white. But if you're just wearing trunks, it's just gonna look like you're in a fucking adult diaper, dude.
So I didn't really. That's the only critique I had about this entire presentation was.
Finn Balor was wearing white.
Well,
it's not after Labor Day yet. That's coming up still, so he's okay.
The fact that he was awake and coughing and pretty much kneeling up or standing up after the match. Like, no, he should be out. He should be out fucking cold, unconscious. They should have medics come over him to end that scene.
Like I said, man, he should have just disappeared.
Yeah.
He should have been gone. And I was like, why isn't he gone? Like, that's a perfect way. Then when he's done slamming his girlfriend, then he can come back, and you could have him come back as a member of the Firefly Funhouse, or he just comes back and be like, I don't know where I've been, but there was a lot of things that scared me. Paige was there for some reason. Vince was still there, which was odd, but By the way, did you see that you can actually buy that fucking puppet?
Yes.
I'm this close. This fucking close.
We might have to introduce, if one of us gets it, we might have to introduce him onto the live stream.
Yeah, I think
somebody had said, imagine if Finn Balor puppet shows up in the Firefly Funhouse and it's just like abs. Abs were like,
oh my god,
yeah.
You know what? That actually wouldn't be awful.
No,
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
it's like he's taking his victims.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so we also had the Fiend box was something that WB Shop did, where just 500.
Oh yes, the Firefly Funhouse.
That's
box.
what it was, the Firefly Funhouse box. They only made 500 of them. Obviously, they fucking sold out immediately. But the video for it was
fucking gold.
Again, amazing. You've got it was Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt instead of the Fiend, and he had, did he have Paige with him, or who did he have with him? I thought
Ramblin'? Was it Ramblin' Rabbit?
That could be, yeah. But of course, but he's like going through what's in it. He's like, and stickers. He's like all excited.
Stickers.
I loved. You can get photos of my checkered past, and he's like so excited. The shirt was really cool looking. Where it was just the outline of the Fiend mask. But like I mean, you knew that fucking thing was. I mean, it was $30, which was a really good deal. But it's like you're offering all that shit for $30 to only 500 people. Like, yeah, that shit's gonna sell out in fucking instant, dude.
Yep. I'm really mad I didn't, have an extra $30 laying around.
I had no opportunity to. As soon as you sent it, I went to the fucking website and it was already sold out. And I was like, well.
Well, that's when I found out, so didn't really matter if I had $30 or not.
Nope. So that takes us to our last match of the night. Seth Rollins against Brock Lesnar. Here is something I did not think I was going to say. SummerSlam weekend. One of the big four pay-per-views. One of the big weekends for WWE. They have NXT TakeOver. They have SummerSlam. One title changed hands. One title, and that was the Universal Championship. Like, how? Last year we had 5 on just SummerSlam. That's not even counting the fucking NXT TakeOver that was that weekend.
Maybe that's why.
But it's always been a sweet. It's always been like
SummerSlam's been a fucking pace changer.
Yeah. So like that's usually when you have titles change hands, and like you had opportunities here. I mean, you could have made Orton, but also like Ricochet could have won that title back. You could have had the tag team championships and have them change hands. I'm just saying.
how can you have any titles change when they don't have any defended? This is the first time in a long time there was no IC title match. There was no men's tag title matches. You knew the cruiserweight belt wasn't changing. You knew the Raw Women's title wasn't changing. So really, you built AJ in this whole OC thing. I kind of had a feeling he wasn't going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
He only had like 3 opportunities this entire fucking night.
Right, which is what made it odd on Takeover, even that we didn't have title changes.
That I agree with.
Because yeah, normally there another one like that, but well, I mean, like I said, I mean, we decided not to do a title change at Takeover, but in about a month we're gonna have a title change on TV. So, which again, like, now most people know it. I mean, most people who watch NXT are smarks, and they're going to fucking read the things over that. And it, from what it sounds like from reading, they didn't do like they did with Velveteen Dream, where they did like 2 endings or whatever that. You don't know what's happening. Like, nope, this is what we're gonna do. So,
I read something earlier, and I hope it's not what I think happened. But continue, sorry.
Was it that ACH did his title shot?
Yes. That's awful.
We don't.
That's
we don't,
fucking disgusting.
We do
I
not.
I didn't say one way or the other if Jordan Miles is the new NXT champion or not. I didn't say that. I just said that there was, mind you, every single one of the titles are defended tonight on separate shows. So any single one of them could have changed hands tonight. So we'll see.
Ginger. You know the drill. We do not reveal NXT taping results on this show.
I mean, maybe you don't.
I don't. I normally don't read up, but I saw something earlier, and now he says that, and that immediately pops in my head. And if that's fucking true, I no longer will be on NXT Revisited.
I was gonna say you are a host of Revisited. You think you could save it?
I will
But do you think you
quit.
could save it for when the episode actually airs?
Oh yeah.
See now, as soon as we get to Jordan Miles versus Adam Cole, we need to do that like live, just because I want to get your reaction to however that match happens to go, because it's either going to be you live quitting or it's going to be you going, oh thank Christ.
I'll do it live.
I would like to point out there was a point when Triple H lost the WWF Championship to Chris Jericho on Raw at 9 o'clock. And by 10 o'clock, that decision no longer stood. So just keep that in mind.
People have gone home, bro. like the tapings are over. People have gone home. All right.
I think we need to cut this whole section out of this episode.
No, because nobody knows what's happened. And like I said, every single championship. Before I do that, let me make sure that every single championship was actually defended. So, let me see. So here is Adam Cole, Baby, and Jordan Miles. Shayna Baszler and for the Women's Championship and the Tag Championship. So actually the North American Championship was not defended. So it's one of those 3. I can't say who.
Okay, let's move on from this right now.
Oh no, it's much more fun to do it this way.
No! I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting mad.
So Seth Rollins successfully defeats Brock Lesnar and doesn't even kick him in the dick. So obviously this was their way of finally putting Seth over, letting him beat Brock cleanly, or as clean as you can in a Brock Lesnar match, because he did still use a table and throw him into the ring post and shit like that. So not 100% clean, but clean-ish. So anything that you guys have to say about the main match here?
Okay. there was a long point leading up to SummerSlam where I really lost interest in Seth. And him as a babyface champ was not working, but I will say that I thought on this match they did a fantastic job with Seth and Brock. Kudos to both guys. I thought they put on the best match of the night. And to the Toronto crowd's credit, they were fucking all in on this match. There was a buzz in the air even before the bell rang, which proves that for once, even if we may not have enjoyed it as the smarks we are, WWE did a good job with this build. And yeah, I understand it was very, very atypical. Babyface got to overcome the odds, and Seth's got to sell a rib injury that he doesn't really sell. But it was still a fun ending to Brock and Seth's rivalry, and it put over Seth like $1 million.
Was this what we feared it to be?
Well, yes, it was. We have nothing for Seth, so let's take the belt off him so we can fight Brock at SummerSlam.
Slightly left a bad taste in my mouth.
Okay.
Seems
to have worked with the large contingent of the crowd.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that the match was good. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't like. I don't know. I just feel that this could have been done a different way. Just to beat him up, just to get the sympathy, because in my opinion, I think they felt that Seth wasn't really getting. He was starting to drop in popularity a slight bit, but just to have Brock beat the shit out of him and then go in with broken ribs taped up and get literally thrown by the fucking tape, and then he comes out on top. And I mean, like I said, I don't mind Rollins, but the storyline is kind of meh. That's all. It's just meh.
Okay.
Meh.
All right.
Troy,
Yes.
you were at one point a big fan of Seth Rollins. What did you think of this match?
I want Seth to be done fighting Brock Lesnar, but the match itself was kind of what it was. You know, Seth is a difficult character because Seth is naturally sounds like an asshole. So, like, you have to kind of combat that. He has that prick voice of his, that like nasally ass voice and stuff like that. So you have to sort of combat that by having him do like good things and because yeah, he's more of a natural heel. You know, some people are just that way. You know, Seth I'm sure is a okay guy. I mean, he did cheat on his fiance and shit like that, and apparently send dick pics to people before he got together with Becky Lynch. So he's kind of an asshole in real life too. But you know, host Andy only has pancakes with people that are either into assholes or are assholes themselves. So, but yeah, I mean, it was a Seth and Brock match. Seth can't do a lot of the things he normally can do in matches when he's against Brock Lesnar. You know, that's just kind of the way that Brock works, you know. So it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. It got Seth a little bit more of a rub. It got him, like I said, it got him a clean victory over Brock Lesnar, not one where he just kicks him in the dick 20 times. So yeah. So this led to... I don't understand how this keeps happening. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Of the 12 matches, Jeff got one wrong. Like, how did he do it? And the only one he got wrong was the Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston match because it wasn't a finish. So Jeff was fucking perfect again on this shit. Like, how, Jeff? How'd you fucking do that, dude?
Jeff's been driving up to Connecticut and giving blowies to Michael Hayes, apparently.
I guess so, man. I don't get it. So Sal and Jason both got 10. Adam got 9. I got 8. Ginger got 6. So the totals for the weekend. Fucking Jeff with 16 correct out of, well, I guess just call it 16 matches.
Yep.
Sal with 13. Jason with 12. Adam with 12. Me with 11. Ginger with 10. And that is a perfect way to segue into the perfect 6, maybe? Because we're running out of time. We did get the announcement that we will be having the King of the Ring return. So I have been a fan of King of the Ring in the past. Their most recent one they did was kind of shit drizzling out of an asshole. But it's still King of the Ring. And so what this is going to be is it is 8 people from Raw and 8 people from SmackDown. We're sort of going back into the brand split because once October comes around, it's going to be a much harder brand split. So starting next week, we'll have the beginning of the matches. There will be TV matches, and then the final 2 will face off against each other at Clash of Champions. On the Raw side of things, you have The Miz, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, Samoa Joe, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Sami Zayn, and Cesaro. On the SmackDown side of things, Kevin Owens, Ali, Apollo Crews, Chad Gable, Elias, Andrade, Buddy Murphy, and Shelton Benjamin. So that is a really good field, a very diverse field. Miz, I don't know what he's doing in there. he's the only one that really stands out as kind of like the why, like like everyone else. I mean, I guess Kevin Owens you could kind of put in that why category as well, because the King of the Ring is supposed to be for like guys who need a push. Someone like Samoa Joe could use that. Drew McIntyre could definitely use it. Sami Zayn could use a win. A lot of these other guys are up and coming guys. You got Chad Gable, Ali, Buddy Murphy, Andrade, guys like that. The Miz is like, dude, you've been here for like a decade. What are you doing in this thing? But I guess, so this guarantees that within the next 3 weeks, we will have Cedric Alexander and Chad Gable both wrestle in a match on TV. So, kudos. Oh, and Shelton Benjamin too, who I'm surprised I remembered he exists. So they have just kind of said that it's the King of the Ring. It kind of came about. This wasn't on anybody's radar that this was happening. But of those people, who do you want to see from Raw and who do you want to see from SmackDown face off in the finals? Sal.
Give me Andrade and Kevin Owens. If that ends up, if they're on opposite, that would be a fucking amazing. And Kevin Owens has done a great job putting this over as a big deal. Like how.
You understand they're both on SmackDown, right?
Yeah, but are they mixing it up? Or are they just doing
No.
like hard SmackDown versus hard Raw?
I just explained to you. One guy from Raw, one guy from SmackDown are going to go at it in the finals. They're doing it where like the Raw people face each other on Raw and the SmackDown people face each other on SmackDown.
Okay, then in that case, I want Andrade versus
Shelton Benjamin.
No, you know what? It doesn't work if they're both heels, but I'd love to see an Andrade Cesaro match.
Okay, that at least falls into the category of believable matchups. Ginger.
What brand is Buddy Murphy on?
SmackDown.
SmackDown?
Yep.
I'd like to see Cesaro versus Buddy Murphy.
Okay.
I think those two would fucking blow the roof off the place, especially after what we just saw Buddy do this past week.
Yeah.
And what Cesaro has been doing. I can't remember the last time he had a bad match. Honestly, I really can't. And I think this would help him get to where I think all of us have wanted to see him. But yeah, those are the two I'd like to see. But I think I know where the outcome is going to be, and it's going to be very disappointing. But how about you, Troy?
Well, what do you think is going to be the outcome?
Oh, I think King Corbin.
Okay.
What?
Yep. It's gonna be awful, but it's gonna fucking work.
I don't think he needs the rub. I think he's already established, obviously, as a main eventer.
He hasn't
So
been on TV in a couple of weeks.
Exactly.
you know what I would actually really dig is if you did Ali versus Corbin, but Ali goes over.
I mean, we talk about it. I mean, Kevin Owens is probably going to get fucked.
Yeah.
He's not going to win this match. He's in there simply so that Shane can fuck him over, or he won't be in there at all, and they'll switch him out with somebody else. So yeah, Ali is somebody who could definitely use it. Apollo Crews, there's no fucking way. He's just a seat filler. Chad Gable, I highly doubt they're going to give him a rub. Also, like the poster that they put out is Chad Gable with long hair, so way to update your pictures. So you've got Elias, Andrade, Buddy Murphy, all three of those guys on the SmackDown side of things could definitely use it. Shelton is obviously a first round matchup that they're going to go out. McIntyre, is a Scottish king. We've had it before, obviously. Like I said, Corbin. Sami Zayn definitely isn't going to win this. He's there to take a loss to probably The Miz in the first round. Cesaro was somebody that could potentially use it. Samoa Joe, they don't seem to know what they want to do with yet. Cedric would be a nice choice. Ricochet, obviously, like I said, was former Prince Puma, so he's used to wearing crowns. No reason for The Miz to win it. So, personally, looking at this, I would like to see a final of... Jeez, it's hard. That's my dick I'm talking about. Ali versus Drew McIntyre would be who I'd like to see in the final. With Ali going over, because I think he deserves it, but, we'll see.
Yeah. See, I've always felt the King of the Ring fits a heel the best.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't... If they don't make them do the King persona, then you can have whoever you want win it,
Yeah.
Because, we had... who did we have before? I know
We had Wade Barrett, William
Barrett,
Regal, Sheamus. Jesus.
was Sheamus bad when he won it? I thought he was good.
Was he?
It was hard to remember. I know, Booker T was bad because fucking Queen Charmel was a cunt. Austin won it, and I don't know that.
Austin was the tweener.
Yeah,
he was the tweener at that point.
So it was difficult. Bret Hart and Owen Hart obviously won it.
Triple H, Harley Race.
Yeah.
It's been pretty much dominated by heels.
Yeah, but
So
we'll see. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So Natalya walked her dumb cunt ass out to the ring.
What a time to come back.
With her, so she had her arm in a sling. She proceeded to get on the mic and was god awful boring. Going on about she took me to the limit, and I did my best, and I'm so proud of being here. And then she brings up her dead dad. And I was like, oh my god, fucking somebody needs to come out here. And then somebody did. Because Sasha Banks comes out, and instantly I drop my phone onto my bed, and I go, alright, I am paying attention now. So I had a feeling that I was going to lose this bet, and I was happy to. Because I was going to do this anyways, so it really wasn't that big of a bet. But so Sasha Banks comes out, looking like a snack, and not just a snack, but one of those fucking 6-pack snack pack fucking things, beautiful.
Oh, the nutritional ones.
Yeah, because she's in good shape. One of those chocolate pudding packs, delicious. So she comes out, and of course, right away, Corey fucking Graves is going, she's trying to talk about her dead dad, and blah, blah, blah. Corey Graves almost fucking ruined for me. If it wasn't for the fact that all the blood was rushing to my fucking head of my cock at this point in time, I probably would have turned the TV and just been ruined. But I was more paying attention to Sasha Banks. So she comes out, immediately attacks Natalya, immediately loses her fucking wig, to reveal that she's got beautifully dyed blue hair. And it was like, okay, now we're doing okay, we're doing a blue hair. I don't know that we needed to have her have a wig to begin with, but sure. Like, that's her reveal of, like, I've changed my look a little bit.
This is the new me.
Yep. So she beats the ever-loving piss out of Natalia. Becky Lynch then comes out because earlier in the night, Becky had said she's going after everybody who went after her. And Sasha beats the ever-loving piss out of her, grabs a chair, beats her fucking ass with it numerous times. I know a lot of people are hopping right onto it because there was a unprotected headshot with the chair. It was clearly an accident. It was clearly not something that did any sort of damage or anything like that. It just happened to be that these sorts of things happen. Like, people get fucking punched in the head, and shit like that. It fucking happens, and she clearly wasn't. It wasn't like the fucking Sean Spears thing where she was driving the fucking steel chair into someone's head. It wasn't Johnny Gargano slamming his fucking head on the back of a chair or anything like that. It was Becky's head was coming up, and Sasha was swinging the chair, and it just wound up making a little bit of contact, but not a lot. But yeah, so Sasha returns and turns heel. Sal.
I wasn't watching Raw live, and then you.
Hey, that's my line.
Oh, and then you motherfuckers blew up my phone. So I kind of knew what happened. I didn't know when. I didn't know how. I will say that when Sasha came out there during Natty's going, I had a dream that my dad talked to me and he said he was proud of me. I was like, please kick her in the fucking mouth. Please just... And you know what? The entire crowd in Toronto felt the same way I did. Because as soon as Sasha attacked Natty, they were like, yes! I have never been more excited to see Sasha in my fucking life. Not only did she beat the shit out of fucking Natty, but Becky came out there, she beat the fucking shit out of Becky too. Yeah. Which I thought was fucking great. Yeah. To your point about Sasha's hair, I think it would have been more impactful if she had went full Britney Spears and she pulled off the wig and she was bald. But whatever. My God. blue hair, whatever, it's fine, blue hair. Yeah. But yeah, Sasha looked amazing. Her ass looked amazing. Like, fucking amazing. Like, wow. And then, I just love that she's a heel now. It's so fucking great.
Yeah, so you've got... this is exactly what Becky needed. Because since Ronda went away, she's had nothing to work with. And she finally now has somebody who, 1, can go toe-to-toe with her on the mic, 2, can go toe-to-toe with her on Twitter, and 3, can go toe-to-toe with her in the ring. So, Ginger, go ahead.
Thanks for stealing my shit, brah. So, I don't know if you caught it, but Natty caught Sasha's elbow right to the fucking chin.
Yep.
She deserved it!
Yep. Oh my God. I mean, you guys basically hit everything for the most part. But one thing that I do want to touch on with you fucking...
dick.
I've already touched that about 50 times today. You fucking internet people saying that Sasha's unsafe because of that chair shot to the fucking head. Shut the fuck up. You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. It was an accident. Shit happens. Becky, if anything, it was 50-50. If you're going to point the blame at somebody. Becky shouldn't have lifted her head, and Sasha was swinging a little bit high with the chair. But still, it's like, stop, people. It's wrestling. Shit like this happens. Stop saying she's unsafe, because she's not. But as for her overall return, I thought she made a great statement, and it was an ass whooping to two female, one top female and one not so
Bottom.
Top female.
Guys, quick question. Yep. If you finish up the feud with Lacey last month, and you have Becky in the ring talking about, she's finally done with Lacey or whatever, she wants new competition, and then you have Sasha come out and you build this as a SummerSlam program, would that have made more sense? I mean, I'm not opposed to what we got. I'm just wondering in retrospect.
No, because I think they already had enough storylines continuing on from SummerSlam that they didn't want to put another one on there.
That's fine.
That's what I would think.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta kind of go through this shit to get to good things. So I think that most of your audience is going to be wanting something more than we've been getting from Becky, so it sets the bar a little bit lower on things, and it makes it so it's like, oh, thank God we finally got fucking somebody.
Yeah.
So even if things are not amazing, they're going to look better in retrospect, just because of the fact that we fucking had Natalia's fucking pussy farts as the opponent the last time. So and it worked out good too, because you cemented that heel too. Even though Natty is technically a fucking heel because nobody likes her, it cemented it because of the fact that she interrupted as soon as she started talking about her dead fucking alcoholic, drug abusing piece of shit dad. So yeah, I'm a heel too. So yeah, so
Fire.
it was perfect on that. And then yeah, like I said, I mean, this is exactly what we've been needing on the Raw women's scene. You know, we don't have it over on the SmackDown side of things. We don't even have a fucking challenger for Bayley right now, and nobody on that roster over on SmackDown seems to even be anywhere near where they could try to elevate. They just tried to elevate Ember, and she fucking sucked. So yeah,
I have a theory on that.
Sasha's
Because
gonna go after her too.
No, Ember seems a little tied up with Charlotte. What better challenger for Bayley than the Iconics? Specifically, Peyton Royce with Billy Kay backing her up. I mean, she's already established a heel character that everybody's familiar with, and the 2-on-1 aspect, 2-on-1 aspect could mean that it could put the odds in Peyton's favor. So I'm all for that personally.
Maybe, except for the fact that the Iconics have forgotten how to fucking wrestle.
Oh yeah, you know.
So, I mean, you've got some people there that you can use. You've got Sonya Deville, who you've never decided to use. She's a legit ass kicker. You've got Mandy Rose, which we didn't really get the push from her that we thought we were going to get. Obviously, we moved Ember over there, and she got her shot, and now she's moving on to Charlotte, which I'm happy that we're not moving Charlotte right back into the fucking, you know, against Bayley again. So, but I don't see anybody in NXT right now that they could use on that. Shayna would have been a good option to have her come right up, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be the plan. So yeah, so I guess we're not going to know what's going on with Bayley until maybe next week. But yeah, at least we know what's going on over on Raw, and it's exciting. Yes, Ginger, you have something to say.
Mike Smathers. Ginger was in last place. Some things didn't change. You shut up, Mike.
I mean, it's true. So we sort of talked about it, you know, Braun. By the way, perfect spelling of Braun on the sheet here.
Ronnie.
He's, I guess, going to be the challenger for Seth right now. He came out to help him for no reason whatsoever. Not really much else we got to say about that. We did get like I said, we get the continuation of Owens versus Shane. You kind of need to have Shane stick around for a little bit, because you need to elevate Owens, because if Shane was gone on Monday, what was Owens going to do? Is there a strong heel over on... And again, it's their fault, but is there a strong heel over on SmackDown that you could have instantly have him go into a feud against?
I hated seeing Shane on Tuesday. I hated
That's the
every
point!
wait, well, let me finish. I hated every fucking thing about him, and I couldn't believe, you know, they fined Owens $100,000, and after SmackDown, I was like, oh my god, I hate Shane so much. They absolutely did their job perfectly. He is the perfect foil right now for Owens. As much as I can't stand seeing him, it works.
Yeah.
It works, and I don't know where this goes, except for the fact that I think that Owens is going to continue losing his temper and continue to get fined and eventually lose his mind. I don't know. I guess we'll see where it goes.
It goes back to the Vince versus Austin thing. We're trying to do that, you know. This
I was
time-
gonna. No,
Yeah. Sorry,
I
Ginger.
was.
You had a chance to say something, and you decided to let me say it, so
Sorry. No, that's fine. I was just gonna say it's basically a watered down version of Vince and Austin.
So far.
Yeah, so far. I mean, it might get better. It might
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I liked the fact that finding him plays into his character.
Yes.
You know, because Austin's whole thing was like anything you did to him, he didn't seem to give a fuck. You know, so it's like they arrested him. He laughed his ass off on the way to the fucking thing. They fired him. He just showed up the next night and stuff like that. Like the one thing that's been constant with Owens's character is the fact that he talks all the time about like I'm here to make money, I'm prize fighter stuff like that. I'm here for my family stuff like that. So this was finally somebody because they've done these little like we find Roman Reigns for attacking Elias or stuff like that, and nobody ever mentions it. So it was really interesting that they actually fucking used it as a storyline thing. Where it's just like, yeah, man, like that would probably piss him off a lot, like obviously he doesn't get fined that amount, but I mean, if you think about what his contract is, I mean, probably a good fucking chunk of it if that was a real fine.
Goddamn, 100K.
100K. I mean, the guy probably only makes what, $1 million a year? You think about $1 million, maybe 750.
Yeah, I'd say probably 750.
Good fucking percentage of it though.
Fuck yeah, that's no bueno.
Yeah. So yeah.
He laid it out too. He said, that's my kid's college money. Does that count? Is that it?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Well,
I
listen.
think I've been very good, by the way.
You've been better, but Ginger has been keeping count. I think he's up to like 3 or 4 times that you did actually say. We just didn't stop the show to say anything. But it's
all
fine.
right, so
it's fine.
Survivor Series it is. But
It happens.
no, so he laid it out. That's my kid's college fund. That's a down payment on a house, which proves I'll never own a fucking house.
Well, that was it. Like that's a down payment. That's how much I paid for my house. Like,
Yeah, good fucking lord.
yeah.
But it does give Shane a way to control him going forward.
Yeah.
Like anytime he tries to fuck around, he just be like, I'll find you again. I'll make it 200,000. Like,
Yeah, well, let's not forget, like, we tried to do a storyline with the fucking Big Show before where it was like, he had bad investments and he's got like that. And it was fucking terrible.
That was awful.
Like, but this actually works because this they didn't have to fabricate something. Like I said, this has always been Owens' whole thing was like it breaks into the reality era of it again, where it's like, yeah, that's like a legitimate thing that would probably piss off. If I lost fucking 10% of my yearly income, I'd be fucking doing blowjobs up and back at Taco Bell. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
oh, if I lost 10% of my weekly income, I'd be fucking devastated.
exactly right. So yeah, yeah, it was like I said. I mean, you really can't do anything else because there's no other heels right now that can really go against him. Now, like I said, I mean, if they turn around and have Brock win the championship, in October, then that's when you could have him go against Brock, and people will love Owens and want him to see him win. So,
When's a Brock? I like that.
yeah.
Going for the title.
Yeah, and it's something that, we got kind of cheated out of before because, we had Goldberg in between, and we didn't really get Brock and Owens like we thought we were going to. Okay, so let's go ahead. We got the 24/7 title on there. We yet again just kind of threw that fucking away because I just want to say this. Dash Wilder's a fucking moron. Because
Thank you.
so it was R-Truth at that point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so R-Truth comes into the ring as everyone's falling over like that. The Revival wind up double pinning him and become the first 24/7 champions.
That's correct.
And then R-Truth winds up taking out fucking Scott and pins him. And then he's standing there celebrating, and Dash is going, huh, how could you do that? It's like, motherfucker, get up and attack him. What are you doing? He just sat there like, you're still fine, dude. Dawson, Jesus Christ. Dawson's on the ground. Who gives a shit? Get up and fucking attack him, dude. But instead, R-Truth runs away, runs to the back. Elias comes out, hits him with a guitar. I fucking cheered Elias hitting him with a guitar. Because I was like,
Fuck
fucking
yeah.
finally, we'll have someone else win his belt and fucking end the show with it. And I was like, okay, so Elias has a championship now. Let's see what happens on SmackDown. And nothing happened. Because he got the night off. And the 24/7 championship was held in abeyance, or the rule at least, was held in abeyance for the night. They didn't even fucking have him on there. And it was like, he was good enough to show up on Monday.
Well, he was good enough to show up on SmackDown. He was the special referee
Yeah.
for Joe and Owens, and but I like when Elias has the title. He doesn't even fucking have the title. He doesn't ever actually fucking does anything with it.
Yeah.
So, Dash Wilder is a fucking idiot. I think that part pissed me off more than the elevator part of this whole title.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
Just looking at him.
Yeah.
What the fuck
Right.
are you doing?
Did he hear someone's music? Was it like a Seth
No.
Rollins
Was it a Seth
situation?
Rollins- did he have a Rollins moment? Like,
Right.
I don't understand it. Like, that made no fucking sense. But thank God. And I think that was a legitimate guitar that Elias hit because it didn't explode.
No. It didn't seem
And, ooh, that thing sounded thick.
Yeah.
Thank God Elias is the 24/7 champion.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go into the main event. Sal and Ginger are going to debate this one. Which company is doing a better job building their pay-per-view matches, AEW or WWE, considering the lack of heat for SummerSlam and NXT? I'll be right back. Talk. Go.
Okay. AEW. I'll just say that. So I'll say that straight up because these build-ups for SummerSlam were. Blech.
Now, have you watched any of the AEW Road to All Out?
Minimal,
Okay.
but I've watched a little bit.
Same here.
I've been keeping up with. I've been watching the pay-per-views and events that they have and stuff. So I know what's going on, and I'm way more interested in that than I was for this fucking bullshit SummerSlam card. And NXT, I didn't mind. I didn't mind that build-up. Those build-ups were okay. Because basically the whole story going into the NXT takeover was the Undisputed Era getting all the gold. That was basically the head storyline of that whole takeover. Yeah. And then you had your issues intertwined in that whole build-up of NXT. But if we were comparing SummerSlam and AEW's, what is it, All Out?
Yep.
All Out, all day. As for if you were comparing AEW and NXT, I'd have to call that an even tie between those two companies.
So right now, with the lack of TV, AEW is doing what they've been doing the past few months, which is using YouTube to build up their pay-per-view, which is fine. I've watched not enough of the build to All Out. I watched more for the build to Double or Nothing, but I will eventually catch up before the 31st. And that's one of the things I love about AEW using YouTube is the day of All Out, I can just go on there and watch fucking 10 YouTube videos in a row and I'll be all caught up. That's what I did for Double or Nothing, and it worked. Obviously, they do a lot of good character building with their YouTube channel. The one feud that I feel like is carried over from Double or Nothing is obviously Moxley and Omega, and they'll do a good job with those two. To your point, NXT I thought had a better build in the sense that, look, we knew this was going to be the final chapter for Gargano and Cole. Yep. There was a very good established feud between Io and Candice where there was a reason why these two are fighting and it made sense for them to have a takeover match. As far as SummerSlam goes, it's a weird gray area situation where they put a lot of TV time into Seth and Brock, and I think it worked for that main event. Then again, they put a lot of TV time into Orton and Kofi, and I think they fucked that all up. So some of the matches that did have build, yeah, there was a lot of problems with the build going into SummerSlam. My only argument is that there's a lot of problems with the build going into every fucking SummerSlam. I don't know why, but they do a great job building towards WrestleMania, but they do a really shitty job building towards SummerSlam. And maybe it's the amount of pay-per-views between WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Maybe it's got a little bit to do with losing a week to Raw Reunion. But, you know, I didn't think the crowd really gave a shit about most of these matches. Even AJ and Ricochet, which, like you said, should have been a fucking barn burner. Well, we've already seen it 4 times, so why do we care? Even as a crowd.
I don't think that was the problem with Ricochet and AJ. He worked his leg the whole time. Like, that match is not for working a limb. That match is high impact, all body, not working one leg or an arm or whatever. That should not have been what that match was.
And I think the people wanted to see, like you said, a high impact,
a full potential between those two. And I feel that crowd got fucking robbed on that match.
In fact, I would have thrown the Undisputed, not the Undisputed, I would have thrown the OC out of ringside right within the first 5 minutes and let these two fucking go. We know AJ can still go. We know Ricochet is one of the premier athletes in the world right now.
Yep.
Their best match of their feud was their first fucking match.
Yep.
I don't get that. Why wouldn't you let these guys loose on pay-per-view at your fucking SummerSlam event?
Dude, I honestly wish I could tell you.
As far as the other matches, obviously the Fiend was the talk after SummerSlam, and there was a lot of build going into that character. That build started, you could say, the night after Mania, and they did a great job with that. You can't just have Bray return as the Fiend without all that build.
Was he really built up since the Raw after Mania?
It's the first time we saw the fucking Vulture come out, the Buzzard come out of the box.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, remember,
that's why that's that good.
Yeah, remember we had 2 months of Firefly Funhouse episodes.
Yeah, that's true.
Before that was when we had the Buzzard coming out and stuff like that, and yes, Sal is right. It happened the night after Mania because that was what a lot of people are talking about. Was like, what the fuck was that? So yeah.
So, Troy, what's your opinion to the main event, sir?
I mean, it's a difficult question because WWE has TV, you know.
Right.
AEW has the internet. But in terms of what AEW's been able to do with less, you know, I would tend to say they've done a little bit better job. Now, they have had matches that have not lived up to the hype. But they've also had a lot of really good matches. I mean, they wound up building up Darby Allin, really good on their show. You know, they've done they did a really good job of, you know, building up Cody and Dustin against each other and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, you just take a look at the card here for SummerSlam. Like, Goldberg and Ziggler wasn't a Goldberg and Ziggler storyline. It was a Miz and Ziggler storyline. It was a Shawn Michaels and Ziggler storyline. And then they're like, here's Goldberg, you know. Yeah. And then Natalya and Becky Lynch. I mean, Natalya's always going to be terrible, so that was no surprise. You know, even the Ember Moon thing, was kind of confusing because it was like, okay, Bayley's going to give her a shot. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, then she kind of turned heel, but also kind of didn't. Like, she did an eclipse to both of them. So it was like, you know. And then, like I said, I mean, with the Trish and Charlotte thing was a complete fucking disaster. With them trying to put Trish Stratus into 2 matches on Raw and SmackDown.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And it was like, what was the point of that? You didn't have to. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to get him in the ring at all, you know. Just have them talk. Like, they're both good talkers, you know. And then, you know, Orton and Kingston, the build was good, but the match didn't fucking result in anything. So it's like they can't get both things correct. I mean, you know, yeah, you can talk about, oh, you know, Bray Wyatt's build and stuff like that, but it's like, but Bray Wyatt, like, Finn Balor has only been a part of the Bray Wyatt build for the past 2 weeks. You know,
True.
before that,
True.
we didn't know what his goal was and stuff like that, and you know, but it wasn't until because I mean, 2 weeks ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago, he took out Mick Foley. So you're like,
Right.
so you didn't know what he was going against, and that's not. I didn't really consider that a feud. So, I mean, you know, it was the bright spot of the pay per view, but it's like an entrance probably shouldn't be the bright spot of your pay per view. You know, like
In
it shouldn't be.
WWE's defense, I think I read someplace that Cody had mentioned that he's got a year worth of TV written, which is great. You're a brand new company, and you have a direction of where you want to take that company on your TV program once they get to TV in October. And in the WWE's defense, well, Vince has been doing this for 35, 40 years now. So I give credit to AEW if they have a year TV written, but will their fans be as invested next year as they are this year?
Here's the thing. I do not give him credit for having a year's worth of TV on because, okay, so if you have a year's worth of TV mapped out, what happens when injuries happen?
Yep.
What happens when your fans don't like the fucking storyline that MJF is in? And are you just going to be like, well, we've got it written, so let's keep going on it? Like, no, you got to change that shit. Like, yeah, you can have a fucking outline for a year, but shit changes, man. Like, you think that fucking WWE knew that Kofi Kingston was going to get over this fucking big? No, they had to change things. So it's like, if fucking Cody is sitting there and goes, oh man, like, I got this really good fucking build for Shawn Spears, and then all of a sudden, like, he goes out there and the fans are like, who gives a shit?
Mm-hmm.
He's either going to have to change his fucking year-long storytelling or whatever that, or he's going to continue to go with it, and fans are going to get turned off by the show and be like, yeah, I'm done. You know, so, yeah, I mean, it's fine to have outlines, but you can't have an entire fucking year worth because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who you're going to sign in 6 months' time.
Well, that's why I give WWE credit because they continue to do. They don't have an off season, and they continue. You know, we know they're building for that live SmackDown on Fox, so they're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern. I don't think the build for SummerSlam was awful, but I think a mix of a lackluster build and that Toronto crowd hurt SummerSlam.
So we have a a special guest check-in on YouTube from Jeff.
Oh.
He says,
Wow.
checking in from work, wish I could watch it all. Just remember, not everyone can be as good as me when it comes to making SummerSlam picks. Smiley emoji. Mike Smathers then says, they have mostly ignored chat, Jeff, but you did get a lot of props for your picks. Mike, I'm just trying not to interrupt people. That's all.
Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Hey.
Jason's not
We do love you, Smathers, though. We appreciate
Fucking
you.
shot.
Jason's not here, and for some reason, my chat is still empty on my phone. So, sorry.
So, what me and Sal were kind of doing, Troy, was comparing AEW's build up to compare it to SummerSlam, and then comparing it to Takeover. Was Takeover's build up a little bit better than AEW's, and was AEW's build up so far better than the SummerSlam build up?
Again, I mean, it's you're comparing two things that are very different. You know, you're comparing weekly TV to a 20-minute YouTube video a week. You know?
Yeah.
So that's a little bit difficult. But I mean, in terms of the build for Takeover, there were some issues. You know, I mean, the Mia Yim fucking
Debacle.
That whole build up was not great. The Io Shirai and Candice LeRae, like, they didn't really interact all that much before that.
Well, their build was based on what happened last Takeover. They're gonna have a match. That's all their build really was.
Yeah, but then they didn't progress it anywhere because you literally had Candice standing on the fucking parking lot before William Regal was like, by the way, she's not here. You know, like. So yeah. Then obviously everyone was like absent from their own storylines because Johnny Gargano wasn't around either for his
Right.
fucking build with Adam Cole. Adam Cole did the entirety of that fucking build. It was like an Undertaker feud. Like, like what the hell, man? Like, why isn't Johnny one of the best talkers you have down there? Why isn't he cutting promos on this guy? Why aren't they fucking interacting at all? You know. So I mean, they did a better job of building up fucking Matt Riddle versus Killian Dane than they did their actual fucking main event. So and that match didn't even fucking happen.
Exactly.
It has now, but which, by the way, there was another match that happened that we were supposed to get 6 months ago. That happened.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yay. I'll be happy to
Maybe.
watch that.
There you go.
Maybe yay. I guess we'll see how it.
Yeah, we'll
Oh,
see. I mean,
maybe.
Dominic, I jacked myself off on video. You know, I mean, it's good to have it. But still, you know. So, Atlantic Pro Wrestling presents Super Summer Smash. Saturday, August 17th from the Newberry Elks Lodge 25. Doors open at 5:45, bell time is 6:30. Get your tickets now as the VIP packages are selling fast. VIP packages get you into a special meet and greet with Simon Grimm, Brawler Malonis, and all three of Brawler Malonis' Future of Honor stars. Reserved front row is $20, reserved second row is $15, general admission is $12 or $15 at the door. Individual ticket purchases do not grant entrance to the meet and greet. You must purchase the VIP package, or get the fuck on. The main event will see how many people is that?
Four.
A fatal four-way. Fatal four-way? Yeah.
Yes.
For the vacant APW Heavyweight Championship, Vern Vicalo, Demon Ortiz, Retrosexual Anthony Green, and the Masshole Mike McCarthy. Brawler Malonis will take on Simon Grimm for Shiggles. APW Women's Championship will be on the line as Vanity Vixen defends against Angel Sinclair. I'm sure that will be a 1-star match for 5-star booties. The American Maid will defend the APW tag titles against Nightbreed. Nico Silva takes on Dante Caballero. Sorry, get a name that people can pronounce. DL Hurst takes on the American Hammer, Dan Terry. We have a rematch from the last event as Club Cam take on Robo the Punjabi Lion. Isn't Club Cam more than one person?
Nope,
No.
it's just Cam Zagami.
Okay, then call yourself Cam Sagami. Future of Honor stars collide as Brian Johnson takes on Rayo. What did the third guy not get booked?
Dante Caballero's fighting above. You just mentioned him.
Oh,
He's the third guy.
He's the third guy. Okay,
Yes.
all right, because it doesn't say that anywhere else. Anyways,
Hey, Ginger, brother, you think you can hook it up with some free tickets?
Dude, I don't work for the company anymore, man.
Oh, come on, man.
I
Long-standing?
just advertise, brother.
but you know what you can do? You can go to facebook.com/Atlantic Pro Wrestling and get your tickets there.
I should be attending this show. Ginger, you want to come with me?
I work, man.
All right. I'll go
So
by myself, it's
again,
fine.
I will not watch it.
Well, you know who else is working? Adam is. Ginger, tell us where Adam is going to be working.
The company that known piece of shit Todd Sobel called a company that is smart enough to not do business with me. Breathe. Peabody's top independent wrestling company, The Proving Ground, returns to the Peabody Knights of Columbus on Saturday, August 31st for Level 5. Ring of Honor superstar brawler Brian Malonis faces off against the so-called King of the Monsters, Kevin Giles. The Proving Ground Championship will be on the line when current champion, the Ace, Mike Montero, steps into the ring with longtime rival, the PGOG, Derek Conway. Watch our former host, Adam, live if you must. Yeah, he's pretty good at what he does. I'll give him that.
Is
King
he,
Leon...
like doing the ring announcing that night?
If you
Yeah.
if you hadn't lost before, you definitely lost that time.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm just. He always says, "Watch Adam live if you must." What are you supposed to go away every time Adam ring announces a match?
Hey,
No,
the pizza could be really good.
No, you plug your ears and go la 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 la.
King Leon King Leon the Sixth and Corinne Mink will attempt to get married live in the ring. Attempt. I'm glad they added that.
Oh, I added that.
Still won't happen.
Nope.
All that and much more, except known piece of shit Todd Supple. He ain't booked Terra on August 31st.
And that does it for the rundown on this Thursday, August 15th, 2019. Please rate us 5 stars and review, and we will read your reviews on air. Follow us on Twitter at Rundown Network. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Rundown Wrestling. Email us, show your dick pics or any dicks that you might find on the side of the road at rundownwrestling@gmail.com. Go to instagram.com/rundownwrestling or youtube.com/rundownwrestling, where you can watch us and you can comment in the Smathers Lounge. And hopefully next week we'll have Jason back and he'll actually, say things. Leave us a voicemail 617-863-6967. That's 61 Rundown 7. No, JG, you did a perfect job tonight. We are on Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/Rundown Wrestling to become a patron. All patrons will receive early access to shows on the Rundown feed, as well as some swag and original content. Also, when you subscribe to the $20 level, you get a t-shirt. If you become a patron, you will surely hear the first episode of Salvivor Series before that drops on the main feed. You will also hear the first episode of The Call, which is me talking about In Your House, before it drops on the main feed as well. Check out our website, rundownwrestling.com, for information on all of our great shows, such as the Nitromania podcast, Hurry Up and Cruiserweight, Making the Grade, NXT Revisited, Twat Magic, and WrestleMania Salvation, as well as a brand new show, Jeff's Discount Pay-Per-View Boutique. It was an Adam Heavy week this week, as we had him taking over for Jeff on Hurry Up and Cruiserweight, as well as doing a spot of NXT, which is a recap of NXT UK. Listen to our friends Brawler, Brian Malonis, and Mike Crockett on the Wrestling Podcast About Nothing but new podcast every Monday. Go to facebook.com/thewpn or thewpn.com. Check out our friend Justin Michaels on his show Yesterland Waltz. Go to yesterlandwaltz.com or watch on your Roku through the RNTV app or the 24/7 Retro app. You can follow our hosts on Twitter at JStewart0920, at RockstarTroy, at Ginger19876, at WrestleMania Sal, at Hurry Up Cruiser, and is this a new one at the bottom here?
I didn't put it in.
Okay.
Maybe Jason did. I don't think that was said
Okay.
last week.
At Miss Lacey Lennon. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks to Sal for joining me.
Thank you, Troy, for having me.
Thanks to Ginger.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks to Jason for our rockin' theme song, and fuck Todd Supple. Next week, we continue to pleasure ourselves to pictures of beautiful women as we build towards Clash of Champions. So with that,
We will see your fucking ass next time.
Bye-bye.
bye. Alright, beautiful. I will get this going and get it up.
Fuck, that fucking line got me.
I noticed.
Well, I should have been changing it every week, but I'm gonna fucking change this one out and see if he
Fucking completely threw me off, and I was like, oh shit. That was good though.
Nice. Also, I like that Smathers calls us out for ignoring the chat, but he says that like half an hour after his last fucking thing that he said. Like, dude, we only had you read every single fucking comment on there. Like, what do you want from us, man?
Right.
But anyways, thank you to Jeff. Wish you could have been on. Kane and Smathers. You guys have a good night.